It's a habit. I've been running 28 years every single morning. I don't know, you just get out of bed. It's just natural. Get out of bed and go run. I check the weather the night before. Everything is set out, so my routine in the morning is very detailed, scripted. I don't have any margin for error. It's for mental balance. It's all thought out. I can tell you the direction of the wind, the temperature, the percentage of the humidity the night before, because I have to be prepared.
For some reason, Amber thought that we should run a 10K in Okoboji, and so we did.
Whining and the bitching and the moaning. We were doing this 10K. It was the hottest day ever, and it was so humid up in Okoboji, and he was bitching. I was carrying his shirt, and I was like, we just gotta finish.
Looking back, she's quite correct, and looking back, I should have had a better attitude and tried harder at it.
Oh, he was bad. I could run faster backwards than he could forward at this point, and it was just ugly.
I finished.
I've tried to block it out. I have been told I'm high-strung. I feel like I'm just kind of up here. I don't know that it's high-strung, because I don't feel like I'm anxious-ridden, but I think the running keeps me from being anxious-ridden. I think I'm almost normal.
sunlight can hit the soil, the weed seed that is in the soil germinates. You know, now we're getting down here where the hail's not as bad and there's no weeds. We don't spray a lot of chemicals that have a residual throughout the whole season anymore, because the canopy is really your residual. And when we have the hailstorm, we lose that. And it's amazing how many seeds are in that ground that can germinate. It's a lot. Sunlight hits the ground and here they come. Mother Nature's outworking you all the time.
It is the beginning of the end of a long season in western Iowa. Kelly and his team have done all they can do to grow a record-setting crop. Now they wait for the 196 acres of contest corn to finish growing and dry down before it is harvested.
So there's a lot of discussion about Francis did this on dry land, and you know and we're doing it on irrigation, chasing that number. But if we wouldn't have the drip this year, I don't know that we would have had a shot, because at one time we were 9 inches behind on rainfall. And our dryland corn, our production corn, looks tremendous. You know, I think that it'll be one of our best years ever.
What's impressive about these kernels is how deep they are, first of all. You know, it's not just kernel count, kernel depth, and then the width of the kernel all the way down. You see a lot of corn that was stressed this year from lack of water. That really, the tip of the kernel got really pinched, and so it's more of a triangle shape. This is more of a blocky kernel. I mean, there's a lot of starch in the bottom of that kernel. That's grain fill. That's where your extra, fewer kernels per bushel.
That has a chance to be at 65,000.
Yeah, a term I call kernel pack. There's just no space. Some hybrids will leave a gap in between the kernel rows as it dries down, and that's an indication of missed opportunity too. And these babies are full. Putting SDI on corn, how do we manage water? How do we capture genetic potential? How do we help the corn not have a bad day? It's all about managing the stress, managing the things that keep it from showing us the true potential.
The fact that this corn is still green, the fertigation, the hot, dry periods that we had, 105-degree heat indexes, that's why this corn is still this green. But you would never even be talking about 400 bushel corn without the drip irrigation.
It's all about genetic potential.
Drip irrigation has taken away my blissful ignorance, and now I'm not ever satisfied. Now I'm not ever satisfied. I always want it to be better.
Brings that base up every time, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and nothing is ever good enough. We were very excited because we felt that we produced enough kernels to have a shot at 442. But then we had a week of 105 and 106 degree heat indexes, and a lot of the second ears that we produced, we aborted. The heat that we've had, took some top end off. And I think that took top end off of every variety, especially the bush place field, because of where it lays down in there with those hills and around those trees and stuff. I think it got excessively hot there. I read one time Francis had some temperatures over 91 degrees for a few days in a row, and he calculated it was like 1.5 bushel per day or something that he was losing. I can't, 1.3 or something like that, but I believe that happened to us. It just isn't easy to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. I embrace the task, I embrace the challenge, but it takes a little luck with Mother Nature. When you're standing in the right place, and moving accordingly, it's kind of like you're communicating with the cattle, because they want to go, they want to get away from you, and yelling and hollering and hitting them and things like that, that's not necessary. Working with the cattle, not against them. Hey Kathy, hey Kathy, hey Kathy, hey Kathy. Be calm, stand in the right place. I think you kind of got to be quiet.
Watch their head.
Watch their head?
Cows leave with their head.
Yeah.
Watch their head.
There's even a gate that we could have brought behind them to squeeze them up in this little chute, but the cattle want to get away, and we just stood back there and applied a little bit of pressure, and they loaded, they kind of run like water.
We had cattle too. We traded them.
Traded cattle.
We had 1,500 head backgrounded. Yeah, that's the polite way of saying it nowadays, isn't it?
Yep.
And I had to work cattle since I was a kid.
I've chased a lot of cattle, and Amber's chased more.
That's all I want to say about that.
Okay, Forrest.
Maybe you should drink less coffee.
We need another cup of milk.
We have to take potty breaks like a toddler.
That's not because of coffee.
It is too.
That's because I get excited with you. We were here 1 week, and I thought we had a shot at 442, and then because of all the second years. Well, then we came back the next week and see, look, you can see all these second years sucked back. We had a week where it was very humid and we had 105 degree heat indexes.
Wow.
And I think down here in this low area, it just, it cooked. I mean, you know, the variety in the other field did the same thing.
Oh man. So with this particular hybrid, this has been one that we've been waiting for a while. We've been in product testing. We don't really launch hybrids in a hurry, but over the course of the last 3 years, as we've been looking at it, it's been one that's really stood out for us. You know, one thing that I noticed right away with it is it loves nitrogen.
Yep.
If you feed it, it's going to show off, just like what we're seeing here right now. The other thing with it is that it's just consistently always going to try to put out for you. It moves well from west to east. We liked it because really this was designed to be a Nebraska corn under irrigation because it's good against green snap, and then it's also very good against Goss's wilt, which is a big problem in Nebraska. But what we determined coming out of it when we found it was the fact that this thing was just a flat out yielder wherever you put it. But it does love nitrogen. Its plant health, as you can see, is pretty well, especially if it responds extremely well to fungicide. But man, you can, if you pour the coals to it, she's going to reward you at the end. And it's just a phenomenal hybrid.
You're never going to get better doing the same thing. We're going to need to try other things. And that's what, you know, that's what this year is all about. We've tried a lot of new things, and you know, we obviously haven't combined it yet, but this one's going to pay off. I mean, what do you think the moisture of that corn is?
Well, right now we're at black layer, so I would say literally we're probably at 29, 28.
Yes, it would combine at 32,
Right.
31. Yep. So in another week or so, we should come and get this corn so we can harvest it at 27.
Right. You know, being on this journey with Kelly and you know, helping him, you know, him giving us a shot, number one, to plant Integra, but then number two, to be a part of this is really, really special. And we're excited to be partnered with this project. And man, I really want that record. Not as bad as maybe Kelly wants it, but I really want that record too. And anything that we can do to help try to achieve that, that's the goal. I'm marveling at this. This is phenomenal.
You're happy?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm happy. Well, I'm happy as I can be.
In the next 10 weeks, Kelly and his team will harvest nearly 7,000 combined acres of corn and soybeans. They'll spend nearly 1,000 hours in the combine before declaring the 2021 season a wrap. Harvest is the great equalizer. It is the judge and jury for a body of work that began nearly 5 months prior. It provides many answers and raises new questions. For Kelly, he learned more this season than in any of his previous 22 seasons of farming. He will soon learn if 2021 will yield a new Iowa corn champion.